In a quiet, secluded village surrounded with the aid of rolling hills, there lived a young man named Lebo. He turned into kind-hearted and hardworking, usually placing his family first. His days had been spent tending to his small farm, caring for his mother and more youthful brother, and locating pleasure in the easy lifestyles they shared. But beneath the peaceful outdoors of the village, there has been something that humans didn't speak about. The village chief, a person of strength, both feared and respected, carried with him a curse. A curse that could exchange lives with a single phrase. Lebo had heard the whispers, the warnings from elders who spoke in hushed tones, but he never imagined that the chief's curse could find him. The day all of it changed started out like another. Lebo turned into getting ready for the village pageant, a time of birthday party and gathering. But there has been an unease within the air. The leader had grown remote in latest months, not often acting in public, his gaze colder than ever before. If the curse of the leader wasn't stopped, it became stated that the ones marked by using it might lose everything they loved, vanishing from the lives they once knew, as though they'd in no way existed. For Lebo, the idea of losing his circle of relatives, his domestic, the village he had known all his lifestyles, changed into unbearable. But soon, this unimaginable fear might end up his reality. That evening, because the pageant started out, Lebo stood together with his circle of relatives underneath the golden glow of lanterns. Laughter stuffed the air, and for a second he felt at ease. The village had usually been his secure vicinity, an international of heat and familiarity. As the nighttime wore on, Lebo felt the presence of the village leader before he saw him. His coronary heart quickened because the chief emerged from the shadows, his eyes scanning the gang. Then their eyes met. In that second, something darkish passed among them. Lebo felt a chill run down his backbone. He couldn't shake the sensation that something horrible become approximately to take place. Lebo left the competition early, on foot home along with his mother and brother. The night appeared surprisingly nevertheless, and the air changed into heavy with an unstated tension. As they reached their small domestic at the threshold of the village, Lebo's younger brother all at once stopped in his tracks. "Lebo, I saw him," his brother whispered, his voice shaking. "The chief, he checked out me, much like he checked out you. We've been cursed." Lebo's heart sank. He had usually idea the memories have been simply that, testimonies. But now the load of his brother's fear and the chief's gaze settled heavily on his chest. The curse made itself known almost right away. As they entered their home, the fire flickered and went out, plunging the room into darkness. The residence creaked, and an eerie silence stuffed the air, broken only via the smooth sound of wind whispering via the cracks inside the partitions. But this wasn't any ordinary wind. It carried with it something darker, something malevolent. Suddenly, the floor below them started out to tremble. The partitions shook, and the very earth appeared to groan under the burden of an unseen pressure. Lebo grabbed his brother's hand and rushed in the direction of the door. However, as they flung it open, they had been met with a wall of thick, white mist. The village beyond became long past, swallowed via the fog. Panic seized Lebo as he found out they were trapped. Out of the mist, a determined appeared, a tall, shadowy silhouette. It became the chief, but he now not regarded just like the man they'd once known. His face became hidden underneath a cloak of darkness, and his eyes glowed with an unnatural mild. "You've crossed me." The leader's voice was a whisper, but it echoed all around them. "Now, everything you love shall be taken." In that moment, the ground beneath their residence split open, as even though the earth itself had been torn apart. Libo watched helplessly as his domestic, his reminiscences, the whole thing he had labored so difficult for, was swallowed by way of the chasm. His mother's scream echoed through the air before fading into silence. Libo's coronary heart broke as he found out she'd changed into gone. Days exceeded, however it became not possible to recognize what number of. The village remained shrouded in mist, and no one seemed to do not forget who they were. Libo and his brother wandered the fog-stuffed landscape, their home now nothing more than a pile of rubble and ash. But even inside the depths of despair, Libo did not surrender. He knew the curse became not the give up. There had to be a manner to interrupt it, to reclaim what had been lost. He would discover the solution, irrespective of how a long way he needed to move or how many risks he had to face. And so, with a deep breath and a coronary heart complete of dedication, Libo set his sights on the only vicinity no person ever dared to undertaking, the forbidden forest, where the maximum desperate souls went on the lookout for desire.